Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you've unfortunately had a miscarriage or you know someone that has had a miscarriage, and I am so sorry that you have to go through this right now. Basically, this video will just be talking about my journey through my latest miscarriage, and also I'll speak a bit about my symptoms and the emotional side of things and how I got through it and how I'm on this side of it, which is a lot better than what I was during the time of the miscarriage. But yeah, basically my vlogs are about my journey, and I just want to share my story because I don't know if you're like me and you just need to hear it from someone else or know you're not alone, and no matter how many people tell you it's normal, no matter how many people tell you you're going to be okay, you'll get through it, nothing will help. So I'm here to just tell you this is your journey and you've got to do it for yourself. So basically I'll start from the beginning. So me and my husband have been trying for several months now. I do have endometriosis, which I'll explain in another video. And I've had quite a few surgeries, so I have a lot of scarring inside. And basically, when I was 21, they told me that I needed to have all my kids by 30 or else I wouldn't be able to have any kids, which isn't true, but you know, they didn't know much back when I was 21, and now there's a lot more knowledge about endometriosis. So it's amazing, but not when I was a kid. But basically, we've been trying to get pregnant for a while, and the first couple of miscarriages were at 5 weeks, which were still so hard in themselves, but I guess I kind of got my inspiration to tell my story from the latest miscarriage, which was at 9.5 weeks, so nearly closer to 10 weeks. But yeah, I just want to tell my story to let others know that you're not alone, and it is not easy. So basically we've been trying for a while, and we finally got pregnant. It was 4 days after our wedding that we found out. It was the most amazing time of our lives. We were over the moon. We're a bit, maybe 4.5 weeks, so we still had the expectation that we may miscarry early as well, but thankfully we didn't at the time, and we got through to about 6.5 weeks. When we were at 6.5 weeks, unfortunately I got made redundant due to COVID from my job, which is also unfortunate, and I'm not sure if it maybe was the stress or what it was, but I had a lot of bleeding that day, which obviously I'd never had bleeding before, so I was obviously really worried. I called our OB, who's also my endo specialist as well, which was amazing, and I let them know, look, I'm pregnant. My first checkup appointment was at 10 weeks and I'm only at 6.5. I have bleeding and I just want to check what's going on. And basically they told me to go in straight away. We did a check. I didn't have any other symptoms at all. I was fine. It was just the stress. And they did the check and everything was fine. I saw the baby for the first time. It was the most amazing feeling, although I didn't get to see the baby with my husband because he couldn't make it. But I got to show him some photos and we were just over the moon and just so excited. So the baby's heartbeat was strong, so they weren't sure what the bleeding was, but basically from that appointment he put me on a progesterone pessary, which is, this is TMI, but it's a tablet that you have to insert, and basically it builds the, I don't know, kind of heightens your progesterone, or up in whatever the word is, your progesterone levels to build a thicker uterine lining. So in that way you're less prone to miscarrying if that's the reason why you miscarried in the first place. So basically we did all that, and then we're fine, we're good to go. I had to insert it 3 times a day, which was a lot, and you have to lie down for half an hour every time you insert it. So it was an ongoing thing, and everything that I had to do in the day, what I ate, because obviously you got to watch what you eat, taking Elevate to make sure you're getting your folic acid and the baby's development is going fine, and then also inserting this tablet, and yeah, drinking a lot of water. Everything that I did revolved around the baby. So that was where we were at. And then at 8.5 weeks, we had a couple events on in one day. And once again, I'm not sure if it was the stress of getting to the events, but I had a lot of bleeding that day. A lot. And so this was 2.5 weeks after. So straight away I thought I was miscarrying because the amount of blood, and the hard part is I didn't have any bellyache. I didn't have any pains whatsoever, no back pain, nothing, just bleeding when I went to the bathroom. So I quickly, at the event that I was at, quickly called my doctor or the hospital, and they called the doctor for me. And he'd organised, and I remember specifically it was a Sunday, and he'd organised to come into the hospital to do an ultrasound just to make sure everything was okay. So me and my husband went directly from that event to the hospital. He did a checkup and everything was fine. Baby's heartbeat was so strong. We got to see it moving around, and he basically just said, everything's fine. I'm not sure why you're bleeding. Some people bleed. I had a client who bled throughout the whole pregnancy. I had another client who I had to see once a week because she was bleeding. So you may just be one of those, because everyone is different. And so I was like, okay, went on our merry little way. And then we had our it was meant to be 10 weeks, but because we were a bit earlier than what he thought, we had our 9.5 week scan. We went in because we just saw the baby the week before. We knew everything would be okay. We were having a jolly old time, like we would, just laughing like idiots in the waiting room. Went in, had a laugh with the doctor. Everything was like going well. Brought us in to do an ultrasound to check everything was good with the baby development and everything. And I was feeling fine. So the only thing that I said to him was, the whole pregnancy I had nausea, but I had no vomiting. And I specifically remember that day and the day before, I had no nausea. I felt great. I was cleaning the house. I was moving around, running around, doing errands, like just being myself again, because I was so stuck in this, had to insert the tablets, felt so sick all the time, you know, all of that now I actually felt good. And I let him know, and he's like, oh, that's good to hear, like your nausea may have just passed now. And then I remember sitting in the ultrasound room, and he had to do an internal ultrasound because he couldn't see the baby on the outside, which was weird because he'd seen it on the outside every other time. And he was looking around for a while. We were still talking away as we do, and he went a bit quiet, and then we started to go quiet because he stopped talking. And you could see he was like looking around, because obviously we could see the screen as well, and he just looked at us and he told us, like, sorry guys, I'm so sorry. And obviously this hasn't happened to us before, so we didn't know how to take the news. Like, obviously with the previous miscarriages, they just happened, and I just went through the pain, which I'm more than happy to speak about in another video. If that's what you like, you can let me know. I'd be more than happy to explain my whole story. But yeah, this time he just looked at us and said, sorry, your baby's heart's not beating, and it stopped growing about a week ago. So, you know, what do we do with that information? It's hard because we just saw the baby. The baby was fine that week. So what do you mean it stopped growing? Did it stop growing the moment we left the hospital? Did it stop growing a week after? Was I stressed out? Did we have too many events on? Everything goes through your brain, everything. And he basically just gave us some time in the room to put our clothes back on, and I remember my husband hugging me, and it was all too soon. It was all so real. I didn't know how to react, and I love my husband to death, but I just, get off me. I don't know what's happening. And he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to give me what I needed, but also be strong, because he was about to break down, and he's not one to cry. And basically put my clothes back on, went in the room, and I think when I walked into the room, that's when it hit me. Everything just hit me, and I just started crying, and the doctor was trying to talk to me, and I was trying to keep it together and be there. And it's so hard, because 2 seconds before that, we were so excited. It was our journey, like we were pregnant, you know. And then he basically just gave us 3 options. You know, you can let the baby miscarry naturally, or you can take a tablet and then it will also come out, but that will be so painful because of so much scarring that I have inside. But he opted for a D&C because he thought it was the best for me with all of my medical history that I have. He just said, no, I want to take it out tonight. I don't want you to stay with this thing inside you because it'll make you sick. Which I completely just wanted to do what was right for me and my body at the time. And also, I couldn't say this for the longest time, and I felt so guilty. But I just wanted a fresh start. I just, you know, you just find out your baby just died and it's living inside of you. Like, I just wanted it out, as bad as that sounds, but I didn't know how else to deal with it. So I said, yes, please, booked it that night. Called my family, called my husband's family, went to the hospital, had the surgery. And then the next 3 days after that were hell. They were absolute hell. The emotional, the physical, all the pain you could imagine, everything. I didn't want to see anyone, and I'm a social butterfly. I didn't want to speak to anyone. But the best part of it was all of our family's support and love and friends, like everyone, is what got me through it. You know, you could have, you know, yeah. So basically, as they explained it, I had a blood clot and I had to pass it, but I was having these ridiculous pains, and the doctors prescribed me with medication, and I had to take the medication to get it to pass, which I did, and that was one of the most painful. And I have endometriosis and adenomyosis, and they are groundbreaking pain. So this was through the roof. I thought I was gonna die. But anyway, that passed and I got through that pain. And then the next week and a half was just mentally recovering. You know, there were nights that me and my husband stayed up together crying. And I told you, he's not a crier, but he was in pain and he felt my pain because he knows all I've ever wanted is a baby. And why does it keep getting taken away? You know, nothing can explain why me. And that's all that goes through your head. Why me? There's so many people in this world that don't want a baby and have babies, or, you know, are so blessed to just have a baby like that, and you're not. And you really want it. And yeah, everything goes through your head. And you know what? Nothing makes it easier. Not what people say, not reading the statistics, not reading what can help you. It's you've got to find what gets you through. You've got to find what helps you get to the other side. So basically it took me a week and a half of not leaving the bed, not seeing anyone, not speaking to anyone. And then I got through it. I got through it myself. Of course, with my husband. He was my rock. But, you know, if I didn't have a husband, touch wood, I would have had to get myself through it. I wasn't going to let that be all. Like, nah, I wasn't going to let it consume me. So, you know, a week and a half went past, and then we started to see family. I started to regain everything and get back to myself, leave the house for the first time, which I don't know why. I had PTSD to leave the house because the last time I was in the car, I found out my baby died, you know. So it took a while, but we got there. And then obviously it took 6 weeks for me for my period to kick back in and life to start starting again. And then we had our 6-week post-op appointment, and to find out, you know, if there was anything wrong with the chromosomes or, you know, anything wrong with the baby. And basically told us it was a baby girl, which I was not expecting. But I don't know, that brought me so much peace, just knowing that. It brought me so much, I don't know. And there was nothing wrong with the baby either. Yeah, there was nothing. Nothing wrong with me. There was nothing wrong with Anthony. It was just bad luck. How do you accept that it was just bad luck? It is such a... Yeah, you've just got to tell yourself, I can do it. If I did it, I can do it again. And I will do it again. And so now we are on our journey to getting our rainbow baby. We're not pregnant yet, but we will be. And yeah, I won't stop trying. But basically that was my journey. And I didn't really have many symptoms besides bleeding when I'd gone in to check for the bleeding. It was just bleeding. So how do you explain that? I don't know. But what's meant to be will be. And that is basically my story. So if you do have any comments, please comment below. And I am so happy to be here just to help other women like myself, because it is not easy. And if you're anything like me, all you do is research and YouTube and symptoms and when's my period going to come back and when can I try again, and it's never ending. It never is. So thank you for watching, and I hope you find this video helpful in some way, even if it's not. But that's my story. Thank you. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment. If not, please like and subscribe. Also, we are bringing out a baby apparel brand, so if you would like to follow our journey or support us, please click on the links and follow us on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. Thank you.